We are recording. And we are going to go live on Facebook. Share on page. Give us just a bit. It is setting up our meeting for Facebook Live.
Excited.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to the Cowboy Conversation with Swilling and Anderson. This is a bi-weekly town hall that we host to provide students with information about ASUW and general communications from ASUW President and Vice President.
It is also a place for student feedback and concerns to be directly questioned to President Swilling and Vice President Anderson. So today we have a very special guest, Rhiannon McLean, and she is our Director of Wellness and Sustainability in the executive branch. So just to start us off, Rhiannon, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your position?
Hi, so my name is Rhiannon, as Hazel said, and I'm the Director of Wellness and Sustainability here at ASUW. A lot of my job is managing the food share cabinet we have in the ASUW office. I communicate with student organizations and members of staff that deal with mental health awareness. I do a lot of sexual assault advocacy and things like that. So it's just kind of all levels of wellness for students here at UW. I work with different students and staff to make sure that those needs are being met.
Awesome. So you kind of mentioned the food cabinet we have that you help manage. But could we start with the food share pantry in general, like kind of what this is and where it is and everything?
Yeah, so the food share pantry was founded by the Haupt School in 2017, I believe. And now it's located in Knight Hall, room 106. You go in and it's basically like a little grocery store for free for UW students. You get a bag and you can just kind of scan the aisles and find things that you may need. So it's pretty easy, it's pretty user-friendly. It's not need-based at all, which kind of sets us apart maybe from some other campuses. Food share pantries is, you don't need to prove that you need it. You just go in, you get whatever you need, and you can take it home and cook with it. And they also have recipe cards there, which I think is really cool because it's one thing to have the food, it's another thing to know how to cook it, right? So they have started incorporating recipes so you can learn how to cook, stuff like that. So it's a really, really cool, gem on our campus that I think everyone should check out.
Great. And what kind of food do you think is usually there? Like if a student were to walk into the food share pantry right now, what would they see?
Yeah, so one really cool feature of the food share pantry is the Acres Student Farms produce. So there's just about every kind of produce that you need that is in season, you can find there. Acres has partnered with the food share pantry to provide different kinds of produce. When Casey and I went to the open house, they had pumpkins that you could take, and I thought that that was really fun. So it's a lot of healthy food and a lot of healthy options. So there's things like soups and different, popcorns and snacks and things like that. But then there's also things to make other meals with. So when we went, there was also like dairy. There were also some forms of like meat and poultry, but definitely a small selection of just about everything that you're going to need. A lot of vegetables. There's also hygiene products, which is one thing I really want to highlight as well. So you're not just going to get food if you go in there. If you need deodorant, if you need shampoo, conditioner, body wash, razors for shaving. They also had feminine hygiene products stocked up there, as well as some contraception that, has been provided to them as well. So there's a wide array of things in this pantry. I think it's super awesome.
And how does the food share pantry directly help the students in general?
Yeah, so a study conducted on our campus in 2017 showed that 45% of UW students experience food insecurity on our campus. And that number, is not a small one at all. 30% of students just across the country that go to college experience food insecurity at some point in their college experience. So it's definitely a really pervasive issue in college campuses. College is a really stressful time, and sometimes, money can be tight and you can't afford to get food. Some things just end up going to the wayside, and we want to make sure that nourishment is not one of them. So it's helpful in the sense that, if you're hungry, we're going to make sure that you're going to have somewhere to eat. So I think that's basically the goal, and we're pretty successful at achieving that.
And you had mentioned this a little bit before, but in terms of who can go to the food share pantry, can you just talk on that? What kind of criteria do you need to meet to be able to go and take food?
Absolutely none. Any student on our campus can go in and take food from it if they need it. So there's no need to, prove that you need it on our campus. That's the same for all of the cabinets as well. We have food share cabinets scattered across campus. We have one in the Corbett building, the Haupt School, and one in the Kendall building, and then one in the ASUW office, the demo cabinet in our office. And when you go to take from any of these little cabinets or from the pantry itself, you just walk in. There's no need to prove that you need it. It can be embarrassing to have to prove that you need the food. And also, we know from doing things like FAFSA and stuff like that, that sometimes those need-based programs they're going to let a lot of people fall through the cracks. So just letting everyone take from it. And, if you need a snack, if you need something to eat for dinner that night, you can just walk in and grab anything that you need. And that's the same for the pantries and the cabinets.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah. Awesome. So you did also touch on this a little bit, but can you just talk a little bit more about food insecurity and how prominent it is on campus?
Yeah, so it's unfortunately, I think, more prominent than we would think. We did a student issues survey as well, and finances were a huge stressor for a lot of students. So when you look at how many students are stressed out about finances and how many students are experiencing food insecurity, it's pretty clear that a large chunk of folks are going through this. And we're just trying to kind of make that number and those statistics that we're seeing just a little bit smaller.
Yeah, and then you kind of have also mentioned this, the food share cabinet here in the office. What exactly is on this cabinet?
Yeah, so the food share cabinet in the office is operated by myself and with the help of the Sustainability Coalition and the Food Insecurity Task Force. So what we have on there right now, we have a lot of popcorn, we have some ramen cups and stuff. We've got Chex Mix, a lot of like really healthy little snacks and stuff like that. We also have things like rice and soups and stuff like that to make full meals. We have juices and crackers, so even little light snacks. And that's something that anyone can come and take from, when they see it in our office and learn more about the other food share cabinets in the food share pantry. So the cabinets are just subsets of the pantry. I want to be very clear about that, is that they're just smaller, condensed versions of what we have in the pantry. And the one in the ASUW office also, we recently started stocking contraception and hygiene in there as well. So we currently have condoms and pads in there, but we're trying to kind of expand that selection in the future.
Awesome. Yeah, and I would like to offer, I have used the food share cabinet in the ASUW office a couple of times. You just never know when you're going to need it, even if you don't feel like you're necessarily food insecure. I know for me, it was a day when I forgot my lunch at home and also forgot my wallet. I don't know what was going on in my head that day, but it was great to just have that option to say, oh, here's dinner and I don't need to skip dinner today.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad you're able to take from it, and I'm glad that it helped you. That's really awesome.
Yeah. So can you move on and talk a little bit about the meal swipe sharing program, if you know anything about that?
Yeah, so I know a thing or two about this. This was a bit before my time, and there are definitely different student leaders who know a lot more about this, specifically Courtney Titus, who I want to give all the props in the world for the food share pantry cabinets and for this program. So you can donate if you have a meal plan. I know when I had a meal plan, I didn't always get breakfast at Wachaki, right? So I would have extra meals. And what you can do is if you have a meal plan and you don't think you're going to use all your meals, every semester you can donate 3 meals to like a bank of meals, and students who may need those meals in the future can then use those meals. So the meals are already paid for by you, but since you're not going to use them, you can donate them, and those can be utilized by a student who can then get a nice warm meal from Washiki if they need it. So that's the basic gist of the program. If you have a meal plan, I believe it's three meals a semester. It could be more, but that is kind of like the baseline. And you can donate however many meals that you want to help have a student get a warm meal for a day.
And then if a student wanted to use some of those free meals, do you know how they would do that?
I believe there's an application process. You just kind of apply like, hey, I need to use the meal swipe sharing program. But I would have to follow up more on that. Again, Courtney Titus is the pioneer of all of this, but it's my understanding that you can apply to use those meals.
Awesome. Do you have any other kind of comments about food insecurity that you kind of want to state and everything?
I mean, I think it's a very unfortunate issue that so many college students face. It's something that I've dealt with. It's something that hundreds of students on our campus are going to deal with at some point or another during the college experience. And so it's something that I think we should all care about and all be very aware of and do our part in trying to help combat. And it's, I'm here to talk about the resources because I want students who may be experiencing food insecurity to kind of know that, you have options and resources, and we're here to help you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today, Rhiannon.
Of course.
Stay
Thank
on
you.
as we continue, or you can leave if you want to. That is completely up to you. So moving on, we're going to kind of talk about a little bit about Giving Day. We'll bring you in, Hunter. Do you want to kind of talk about what is Giving Day?
Yeah, so first I'd like to thank Rhiannon as well. I didn't get to see it in person, but that was an excellent little recap of all of the efforts on food insecurity. Also, a huge shout out to our partners, the Sustainability Coalition, who have been huge pioneers on this effort and have had real strides. I know that the meal swipe sharing program was actually initially started by some of their co-leaders and then was kind of taken on by Courtney Titus when she moved to the Dean of Students office. So the collaborative effort here is really key and just awesome work all around. Anyway, getting back to the topic at hand, Giving Day is basically a day from a 24-hour period where the UW Foundation pursues a lot of donations to the university from all over campus. Staff and faculty can donate, alumni can donate, friends and family can donate, tons of people. And the incentives are many. So all across campus, there are little units or departments or places that are having specific campaigns, and they often put up matching funds or perhaps a challenge fund, meaning that if you donate $1, if there's like a 1-to-1 match, they will also donate $1, meaning you can double the impact of your dollar. So that's a really cool program, a really cool method of getting that done. So that's something that is actually happening right now. It ends at noon. It's only about 2 hours left, but that is what is going on.
Great. And then I know that ASUW has its own Giving Day campaign. So can you touch on that and how people can donate specifically to ASUW?
Yeah. So ASUW's campaign is specifically for DACA and international students. And we actually have the largest match of any Giving Day campaign on the entire university. We're matching $100,000 on a 3-to-1 level, meaning that if you donate $1, it becomes $4, which is a pretty good deal. And we will donate up to that $33,330 or $25,000, apologies. So that's a huge amount of money that you could donate and literally quadruple its impact. And this fund is for DACA and international students. We want to create an endowed scholarship and then give a yearly scholarship to perhaps a select number of DACA or international students. DACA students are, of course, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, a program started by Barack Obama when he was in office a couple of years ago, and which is still around. Basically, it means that if your parents immigrated to the country and you were a child, you can remain here legally now if you apply for this program, and you can go to college and all that sort of stuff. So it's a really cool program that's still in existence, but the problem is that they're not eligible for state or federal aid, meaning that they don't get a lot of those financial resources that US citizens do. Same thing for international students, which is why we want to give them an academic scholarship to help continue their great work. So in light of that, you can donate, help us set up our permanent scholarship because the endowed fund will never go away. It will support students for years and years in the future and really just help make a difference in the lives of students. We've already raised a lot of money.
Yeah, you kind of were starting to go in there. I see you stopped yourself. How much have we raised so far and how many donors do we have? Do you know that as of right now?
Yeah, apologies. I always get ahead of myself and I forget to let everyone go and have a natural cadence. But yeah, we have raised about $10,800 so far as of the last time I looked, and we have 49 donors, which is really right on the cusp because at 50 donors, we unlocked a $25,000 gift. So if we just get one more donor, we get $25,000 more for international and DACA recipient students. So if you're listening to this, literally a single dollar could get you 25,000 in an impact. So that's like the best money you'll ever spend. That's a what? That's well, I guess it's a 25,000 times greater impact than a single dollar would be.
That's pretty incredible. Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, so we're gonna move on, and there we go. We're good. Love technology. And I do want to mention, Rhiannon, if you ever want to jump in with anything, if you have anything to add, like about your stuff, feel free to do that as well. So I guess the first question is, how did events go? What has been happening with homecoming this week, on campus or with the ASUW?
Yeah, great question. So I wish that my dear friend, the vice president, was here because he has been spearheading all of these efforts alongside Senator Wilkins from the College of Education, who's also a former president himself and former vice president, very accomplished individual. But basically, I do know enough to say about this. So it's already happened. On Monday, we gave out a lot of pizza, $1,000 worth. And we gave out about $6,000 worth of t-shirts, which were actually designed by our own director of marketing. Shout out to him. So that was fantastic and a great start to the week. We got pizza and shirts on the way. And then I also know that they are doing the horseshoe hunt all throughout this week. So basically they hide horseshoes all across campus, and the winner, if you find the horseshoe based on hints that are available online, gets your choice of a Hydro Flask, a $20 gift card, or I think a $20 dining dollars gift card. So that's a really unique and sort of fun way that we can get into the homecoming spirit. So what else is going on? Okay. I also know that, for example, on Tuesday, that the horseshoe hunt has started Tuesday. And then I believe that there's also going to be on Friday a barbecue from 11 to 1 p.m., which will be inclusive of all sorts of dietary restrictions. There'll be vegetarian and non-pork options available. So that will be really fun. It's literally just free food from 11 to 1 to get in the homecoming spirit. We have a giant smoker on the way, I believe. So that'll be a really cool way to get engaged and involved. There are tons of other events all across campus as well. For example, on Friday at 6 p.m., President Seidel is having a homecoming dinner in which students are invited. On Saturday, there's the UW Homecoming Parade at 9:30 a.m., which we have a walking part in. I can let Hazel tell you about that if she wants, because she is heading it.
Yeah, that's one of the things we're going to talk about in our events, but I can do that now. Basically, if people didn't know, there is always a homecoming parade. You frozen? No, we're good. Okay. There's always a homecoming parade around this time of year. It'll be this Saturday starting at 9:30. I know that there will be lots of different groups walking. I'm sure the marching band will be walking. different kinds of floats. There will be lots of horses, all kinds of fun stuff. People will be giving out candy. And so I'm sure for students, you could either come watch the parade or there are lots of groups that people could walk with. For us at ASUW, we're going to be walking in a parade with some first-year senators and some executives. So make sure that you try to find us and give us a wave if you're in the crowd. Yeah, that's just a little bit about the homecoming parade, but it happens right before the game, so it's a really great way to get into the homecoming spirit.
Yep. Other upcoming events on Saturday, there are a lot of tailgates. The Honors College is having a homecoming coffee on the lawn at 10:30 a.m. Engineering and Applied Sciences, International Students and Scholars are both having tailgate events as well as the College of Business. And then obviously at 1:30 p.m. we have football versus New Mexico. And we need a win now because we're on a 2-game losing streak, so got to turn that around.
All right. So we're just gonna kind of do something fun. Hopefully we'll start doing this a little more in our town halls. Usually we would ask these to Hunter, I guess, and maybe Coulter, but Rhiannon, do you want to jump in and be our Coulter for today?
Hi, it's me, Vice President Coulter Anderson. I'm happy to be here.
Wonderful. I guess the first question is, and Rhiannon, you can answer these as yourself, not as Coulter.
Okay.
But what do you think about the snow? What have been your thoughts this week of all of the snow on campus? Be honest.
I hate it. I hate it. Personally, I know that we're in Wyoming and a lot of, folks here love the snow, and that's great, and I love that for them. But not my thing personally. I hate driving in it. I hate walking in it. It's cold. No, I think it's yuck.
Hunter, how about you?
Also not a fan of the snow, especially in October. I know that like many, and like Rhiannon said, there are tons of people who like the snow. And I will speak for Coulter, our vice president. He loves the snow. He loves to ski. He loves winter, and he's very excited about this, but I am not.
I will join you two in that as well. I do not like the snow.
I really don't mind it. It's just that it comes so early and leaves so late that I know that there are months and months of snow to come. So
I don't even mind the snow that much. My primary problem is that it's so cold and windy that you can't do anything outside at all.
That's true.
Another question to get to know you guys. What's your favorite place on campus?
The ASUW office.
Oh, stop.
Not really. Rolling Mill is a favorite of mine, I think. I've been working on campus even before ASUW. So stopping there, getting like a nice coffee, sitting down, doing homework. So the Union is probably my favorite, truthfully. I think it's a good hub to see other students and get some food and do homework and stuff. And now I also work there. So I think that's definitely my favorite place on campus, personally.
I would say that my favorite is probably the library. I just like the chill and relaxed atmosphere. And I actually like checking out books. They have some really cool books there. A lot of them are super old and not available other places. Though don't lose them, because one time I lost one, they charged $120.
Oh, dang.
I found it.
Casey, what about you? What's your favorite place on
I'd
campus?
probably say I like Prexy's when it's not cold and snowy.
That's fair.
I think it's really fun to just walk around, and even when it is a little snowy, I like seeing all the pine trees around it with the snow on them. I think it's a really pretty place.
Cool. And then our last question of the Get to Know You is, what is your favorite place in Laramie?
Favorite place in Laramie? That's a hard one because I don't really go many places other than campus.
Oh my gosh, I could like 30.
And I feel like saying the UW campus is like a cop-out, like I'm trying to like pander to our audience. Although I do love our campus. It's one of the most gorgeous places I've ever been. I genuinely love it there. So I feel like downtown is amazing. I really love walking downtown, shopping. getting food at local businesses and stuff. Thai Spice is my favorite if you like boba and good food. But I think the atmosphere of downtown in Laramie is like gorgeous, personally. But I also really love our campus, but I feel like that's not the right answer.
Hunter, how about you?
I feel like saying my apartment is maybe a cop out. Also, maybe revealing my inner hermit tendencies. Just kidding. I'm barely over there, truly. But I like Sweet Melissa's a lot. It has a very nice vibe. Great food. Vegetarian, so good for the environment. Sustainable. The people are great. Love supporting the local business. So that's definitely a favorite. Downtown has a lot of nice spaces in general. There's like parks, the farmers market. When it's around, that's really cool and exciting. So that's a great place. Although it's not the place that makes it fun, it's the event. So I don't know if that counts, but I'm gonna count it. Sweet
Well,
Melissa's the farmers market.
basically, we've learned from this that you two maybe need to get out more. But I would add, since I've lived in Laramie my whole life, grown up here, there's a lot of amazing things I think students don't really know about. Downtown is great, as you guys mentioned. We also have an ice rink, which a lot of people don't even know about. We have a recreation center if you want to go beyond half acre. There's like a bowling alley out in West Laramie. We've got a laser tag place. There's a flea market even in West Laramie as well. Bart's Flea Market is pretty great. Yes, there is an ice rink here, Hunter. I have told you that about 4 times, and every time you go, there's an ice rink here. But yeah, there's an ice rink here. And you can just go to public skate. And let's see what else. I had other things. Oh, there's a great thrift stores. There's New to You is great. Mimi's is downtown, is also a really fun thrift store. And then we even have a Goodwill if you wanted to go and check that out. There's also a Walmart if you haven't been there. That's about as exciting as we get in terms of stores. But yeah, there's a lot.
I can attest to the fact that we talk about going ice skating together
Right?
like every 3 weeks, and it never happens.
I don't know. People don't like going ice skating with me because I am a bit of a show off. So not gonna lie. I don't know if we should go. But anyway, yeah. Well, hello, Coulter.
We do
Hello.
a new guest. Show him back up.
Apologies for my tardiness. We were conducting a hearing with the fee units, trying to be good stewards of student fees. But I'm here now, and I see that we are getting to know Hunter and maybe me.
Yeah.
So
You just missed.
Okay, I was the fill-in Coulter for today. I've taken your place.
you could never.
Well, Coulter, you did just join in time because it's time for the Senate update.
Let's go. So we have a lot to talk about. First and foremost, next week, President Ed Seidel will be coming to Senate to talk to and primarily answer questions about the School of Computing. Similarly, next week, we are voting on ASUW's formal recommendation on the proposed plan for the School of Computing. So you can kind of see how those line up. Students are always welcome. You can encourage your representatives to ask questions of President Seidel. You spelled Seidel incorrectly, by the way. It's S-E-I, not S-I-E.
Apologies.
But yeah, apologies to President Seidel for that. We're really excited for this. I think that President Seidel is too. He really seems to enjoy coming to speak to us about what the university is up to. And this is obviously really pressing. So we're excited to have him come by and excited to get our formal recommendation for the School of Computing finished as well. We still have vacancies on the ASUW Senate. We currently have a vacancy in the College of Health Sciences. So if you are in the College of Health Sciences or you know anyone in the College of Health Sciences who is interested in participating in ASUW Senate as a senator, you can refer them to our website where you can find those applications. And then, oh dear, okay, sorry y'all. Then last meeting, we elected our Student at Large of the Month and Senator of the Month. So congratulations to Tanner Wright, our Student at Large of the Month, and our Senator of the Month, Senator Siyasha Pratanang. Big round of applause for our new folks. really excited to be able to award those people for all their hard work and everything they do for the University of Wyoming. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. We're really getting into the swing of things with Senate. We have some big stuff coming up. So I'm super excited.
Awesome. Thank you, Coulter, for that.
You're welcome.
Cool.
Oh, there was one more little piece.
Yes, I didn't see that at the bottom. Yeah, we did realign. So this is kind of I'll try to give this the layman's terms treatment. We are allowed to keep a certain number of, or a certain amount of money in our reserves. We were greatly in excess of that, which is a problem because we get people upset at us when we do that. And then they come for our money, which is a problem. So we realigned quite a bit of that money in an effort to create an endowment focus. So we took the money that was over the limit and we realigned that money and put it into an endowment, or put it towards an endowment aimed at ending food insecurity on campus, which is a big problem. ASUW has identified that a huge percentage, I think it's something last we saw was around 30 or 40% of students are some degree of food insecure, which is a problem because that hinders academic success and means that generally our students are not doing well if they're food insecure. We want to make sure that everyone knows where their next meal is going to come from, they're getting enough to eat, and that they're being successful in the classroom as a result. And so we're creating a really sizable endowment, and that is one of the steps we're taking towards creating that endowment. So yeah, super exciting stuff. And we got our reserves below the limit, just barely below. They're still almost maxed out, if I'm not mistaken, which is great. That means we're in pretty solid financial shape there. But yeah, so I knew we were forgetting something. Yeah, that's Hunter put there, $276,804 in our reserves, and we're allowed to have up to 300,000. So looking for that extra 23-ish grand, 23,296, if I'm not mistaken.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Coulter, for joining just in time for that update. Moving on, we're going to talk about some of the events coming up. We just have a couple this time.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, there is the homecoming parade happening this Saturday, October 23rd at 9:30 a.m. And so I did kind of already touch on what this is, but I wanted to add that if you are a UW student looking to walk in the parade and you don't have anyone to walk with, you are welcome to come walk with ASUW. Technically, all students pay the ASUW fee, meaning that they're members of the ASUW student government. So just, you can message us through Instagram, send any of us an email, and we can get you going on the homecoming parade if you want to walk with us. Yeah, so move on.
Yeah, next up we have Solar Fest, which is hosted by the Sustainability Club here on campus. It's going to be Friday, October 29th from 4 to 6 p.m. And I believe what this is a thing that will be hosted in, I believe, Frexy's pasture. And it will be kind of just like a jam sesh with music that's all powered by solar energy.
Sounds pretty cool. And then the last thing is there is a Halloween party happening at the Art Museum, the UW Art Museum. So it's for both UW students and for the Laramie community. It's going to be just a night of spooky fun, as they said. There will be a costume contest, food, a DJ, prizes, art, things like that. And it's all free to students, free to community members. So show up there, wear your costume, and celebrate some Halloween fun.
Yes. And then moving on, we have the open forum for student questions and concerns. We got some from Instagram and the comment box when we tabled this past week with SOP in the library for midterm week. And then also when we tabled on Monday, we're handing out pizza and t-shirts. So the question from Instagram, the first one came from Ben. It said, what is your favorite part about being in ASUW?
I like working with students. I feel like I'm having an impact on students' lives and making their lives better. That feels really good to be able to help my peers and give back a little. Cheesiest answer possible.
I
Hunter?
would say that my favorite part is probably much the same as Coulter, but I'll try to take a different spin on it and say it's also good for like development and meeting friends and meeting some relationships or having good relationships with people. So meeting that social circle has been really beneficial as well.
And Rhiannon, you're welcome to answer this question too if you wanted to.
Sorry, I've kind of lost my voice a little bit.
Okay.
I think my answers are very similar to Coulter and Hunter. I joined ASUW to kind of be a part of UW community in a bigger way and really try to make an impact on students' lives and, you know, the community as a whole. So being able to do that every day is just really fulfilling, I think, for me. But also that social piece, not just people in ASUW, but people I've met through ASUW who are in other organizations here on campus. I think it's really made me more tuned in to the amazing people we have in this community. And I think that's what I like the most about it is just, I think there are certain, you know, just being able to constantly see the good that's happening on our campus is just really amazing to do all the time. And I'm so lucky to be able to do that, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd say that being an ASUW, it's kind of the first time I felt like I can actually make change and see that change happening, and not just kind of go through the motions, but be able to be part of the progress that's happening on campus. Yeah, okay, our next question is also from Instagram. It comes from Lillian, and her question is, how do you balance student government with school and social life?
I don't.
Yeah, you don't.
No, it genuinely, it's definitely tough. We do a lot, especially, well, I won't discount, all our directors do a ton of work, and Hunter and I are always, you know, I'm in the office every day. There's things to do. There's plenty of work to do to get, you know, we're working almost 30 hours a week sometimes. And of course, you pile school on top of that. It is definitely difficult. I am never bored. I always have something to do. A lot of work on the weekends. You know, it's if you try to keep things confined to like normal working hours, at least for ASUW stuff, it doesn't work. You'll fall behind pretty quickly. And of course, there are weeks that are like more busy too. So like homecoming this week, I am all over the place. It's been really, really busy. It's a lot of fun, but it's really busy. And like hopefully next week won't be so bad, right? So that's just kind of the way it goes. You know, I keep kind of like a running list usually of, it's not the most organized way to do things, but a running list of like, here's what I need to get done and here's when it needs to be done by. And I use that to prioritize like what I need to do. And there's everything's on there. Schoolwork and HW work. And yeah, I just make sure that everything's getting done when it needs to be done by basically. So as for social life, yeah, definitely taking a hit this year. That's the way it goes. Kind of, you know, if that's something that you think you can handle, if you think you're cool with taking on, then that's the way that you kind of have to go about it. So it's tough. I've only been doing this for 4 months, so I'll be able to give a more complete answer kind of at the end of things here. But yeah, the biggest takeaway, it's difficult. So if you're interested in doing executive branch stuff, especially, which is the most time consuming, be ready.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Colter, that it's difficult. I would like to add though that at least for this administration, we're really trying to keep a healthy work environment, which includes that everybody's super supportive of each other, and we recognize that we are students first, and that school is a priority. Mental health is a priority. Just general wellness is a priority. So we try to give each other some grace if we need to take a day off, or maybe push a project to the side because we're not getting that need for the school to get the schoolwork done and work on ourselves a little bit. So yeah, it is difficult, but it's all about the community that you're in, I think, to make that happen. Yeah, Hunter, Rhiannon, do you have anything?
I think my entire like social circle right now is ASUW based, I guess, which is kind of helpful. I think we're very lucky to have such a good community in ASUW. I have, friends in the Senate, friends, in the exec branch, and I'm kind of constantly always have people who are in the same, kind of boat as me in levels of, busyness. I live with one of our execs as well. He's the director of diversity and inclusion is my roommate. So my entire social circle a little bit is ASUW. So that social piece we're talking about with the last question kind of comes in handy when you're trying to balance a social life and school and everything. When you have friends who are also in ASUW, it makes it a little bit easier to manage. When I come to work and I'm really busy and, swamped with projects, I also still have my friends around, which can be helpful. And like Casey and I have kind of made it a tradition that like once a day we'll try to go over and have a little conversation to take a little bit of a break from working, because we can be glued to our desk today if you let us. So I think like with anything, when you're balancing school, social life, and work, it's really just knowing your limits and knowing what you need and taking those moments for yourself, and you making sure you're still prioritizing wellness. And so, whether that is taking a night to go get food with your friends, and, taking a night to do homework instead of ASUW stuff, that can be really, really helpful for your mental health, and truthfully will make you better at your job, because just being swamped with work and cramming it all in may not make you the most efficient. So I think that also plays a part too.
Or did you have anything to add to that?
No, I think that they covered it all pretty well.
Awesome. Well, then we're going to move on to kind of the notes we got from the comment box, as I'd mentioned. They're not really questions per se, but I guess we could phrase them as questions. The first one being, please install more bike racks, especially near COA and Union. So how would someone go about trying to get more bike racks installed?
So the first thing they could do is they could ask to meet with a variety of people, but probably UW operations would be the best one to talk to first. Alternatively, they could also try to meet with like the person who's in charge of that particular space. For example, for the union, you could meet with Jeremy Davis, who's the director of the union, basically. And I'm sure he would be very receptive to, honestly, that discussion. He always is looking for ways to improve the student experience of the union, etc. You could also ask to speak to like the people in charge of the library. That would be Yvonne Gates, or you could go directly to UW operations and ask. You can also get in contact with us, and we would be more than happy to help guide you through some of these processes, because just reaching out to people randomly who you've never met can be really difficult. But one of the benefits of ASUW is that we know these people. We have some of these connections. So, feel free to reach out and ask us. We're more than happy to help.
And we're not scary. We're just students.
Yep.
Cool. So the next comment in our comment box was, I want to see more graduate student events. So I guess how would you talk to a student who wants to see more graduate events, and how could they go about talking to people about that?
Well,
Yeah, so
I was just gonna say, we represent all students, obviously. So when we're doing events, we generally try to cater to all students, graduate and undergraduate alike. We receive student fees from all students. So we could definitely look at doing graduate student events solely. I don't know how much support there is for that within HGW. I'm sure there's a bit for sure. But that's something I would really, if you are a graduate student, I would work with your program. I would work with your department head and see what you can do with them about hosting more events. I would also look into if there are any student orgs that are affiliated or with your program. So like if you're a law student, are there any student orgs that are catered to law students that law students are a part of, basically, and look at hosting events that way. We do offer funding to student organizations. So if you are a graduate student in a graduate student organization, you can come request funding from ASUW through our student organization funding board. If you want to host an event that way, that's always an option for you. So we really encourage you to come try that out. But yeah, that my biggest suggestion would be work with the student org or work with your department to try and put on an event. If you do want to get ASUW funding, it does have to be an event hosted by a student org. So bear that in mind.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, and then so for the last little comment we had, it's kind of a two-parter. They said we need, emphasis on need, at least one microwave in the library. And then their second part was they sell microwavable food without a microwave. So again, how would they kind of go about that? I think it's pretty similar to the bike rack situation, but
Yeah, that is similar. I didn't even know that the library sold microwave. Interesting. Good to know.
Library sells food.
What was that, Colter?
I said the library sells food. I knew they had the cafe in there, but that was it.
That's
I
probably
guess they
what
probably
the
they
cafe.
probably have vending machines. So
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, we can actually look into that. I mean, a microwave is very affordable. With an email. I will do that. We'll get back to you at the next town hall.
awesome. Well, let me just check to see if we have any Facebook comments. It does not look like we do. As usual, you can always join us on Facebook Live and through Zoom itself. And you can ask questions live to Coulter, Hunter, any of us, our special guest, whoever it is. You can always do that. And yeah, so I think that's going to kind of wrap it up for the town hall today. I think this is one of our longest ones. So yay us, I guess. The next Cowboy conversation will be November 4th from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. And yeah, do you guys have anything else to say?
Awesome,
Take
thanks.
care of yourselves during midterms.
Yes, and thank you, Rhiannon, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Of course. Well, bye, everyone.
Bye.